QSD, QSD, QSD. This is November 7, Alpha Papa Whiskey Net Control Station for this evening's session of the 9H HAM GlobalNet. Before we begin the net, I will take a pause for any emergency or priority traffic. Hearing none, QSD, QSD, QSD. This is November 7, Alpha Papa Whiskey. This is a directed net, and all calls should go through net control. I'd like to thank Anthony for making sure that everything is in place, everything is connected, everything works well, and everybody is heard throughout the links of the system. We are primarily on the 9 Hotel 1 UHF repeater. We are also on the 9H1 DMR repeater. We are also broadcasting live on YouTube on the 9H HAM GlobalNet page. And you can also hear a recording of this net at any time after the net is over on demand. We'd like to thank everybody who is listening for listening in, hopefully participating, and sharing what they wish to share with the net this evening. This is a general net, and we'd like it to stay that way, and any and all information that is related to ham radio and of general interest is way, way, way welcomed. This is November 7, Alpha Papa Whiskey, Net Control Station for this evening's session of the 9H HAM GlobalNet. Getting a bit tongue-tied, but that's okay. Let's see, what are we going to do next? I'd like to thank the repeater trustees. I'd like to thank everybody who has made this possible. This net has now been going on for quite some time, and we also hope that it will keep going on for quite some time. Let me take a break to recycle and reset all the repeater timers. When checking in and participating on the net, and I don't have a preamble, I'm just winging this one, but anyway, when you're checking in, please give a 5-second pause between call signs. Please give your call sign phonetically, and if you're new to the net, give us your name too and perhaps your location. We'd enjoy that and appreciate that. Make sure that all transmissions are no longer than 3 minutes so that we don't time out a repeater or a link. Having said all that, this is November 7, Alpha Papa Whiskey, Net Control Station for this evening's session of the 9H HAM GlobalNet. I will now take check-ins. I do have a pad and I do write slow, so please make sure there's at least a 5-second pause between call signs. I will now, there it is, pen in hand, ready to write and ready to take check-ins. November 7, Alpha Papa Whiskey, standing by.
Hotel 2, Julius Golf. Name is Jonathan, checking in. Nine Hotel 5, Foxtrot Alpha. Name is Anthony.
Foxtrot Bravo Sierra. 9 Henry 1, Foxtrot Bravo Sierra.
Whiskey Bravo 4, Papa Victor Tango, Charlie.
Nine Hotel 1, Tango Lima. Name is Chris.
All I can say is that was perfect. I acknowledge 9 Hotel 2 Hotel Golf. Hello, Jonathan. Nice to hear your voice again. 9 Hotel 5 Fox Alpha, 9 Hotel 1 Fox Bravo Sugar, WB4 PVT. I don't know why I don't do yours phonetically, Charlie. Whiskey Bravo 4 Papa Victor Tango. and of course, 9 Hotel 1 Tango Lima. Good evening to you, Chris. Are there any other checkers for the 9H HAM GlobalNet at this time?
Correction.
Okay.
The 9 Hotel 2, I copy Juliet Golf. Juliet Golf.
Is that correct, Jonathan? Juliet Golf, or is it Hotel Golf? Maybe I need new hearing aids.
No, it's Juliet Golf. JG. That's the correct one. But no problem. I thought you said another call sign of somebody else. But the correct one is 9 Hotel 2 Juliet Golf.
Very much. Thank you for that. My mind thought one thing and my hand wrote another. Very good. Are there any other checkers for the 9H HAM GlobalNet at this time?
Hotel 1 Echo Sierra. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, net controller. 9 Hotel 1 Echo Sierra. But only listening for the time being. Over.
Okay, very good. I have you 429 Hotel 1 Echo Sugar. Good evening to you. And maybe later on, if you have time, we'd like to hear an update on the progress of your museum. That would be interesting. Okay, very good. Let me give another pause for any other check-ins. Hearing none? Well, let's see what happened in the past 2 weeks. Weather-wise, oh my goodness. Flooding in Libya, flooding in Greece, my goodness. Fires, just all over the place, actually. And in fact, we have had fires in Canada that have been going for the last 6 months throughout Canada. A total of thousands of fires are still burning, and of course we up here in Wyoming get some of the smoke, but it wasn't too bad. I can't complain too much. And but anyway, the weather has definitely been very, very interesting. I think it was only a few days ago that it was 32 degrees Celsius in London. That's pretty warm, and that they have a similar occurrence once a year in San Francisco, which is normally around 21 degrees Celsius, and they called the 3-day event the Indian Summer. I think it's going to be longer than that this year. So weather-wise, we've been having some very interesting phenomena, and hurricanes included, tornadoes included, everything. It's just been amazingly different. So I'm assuming predicting the weather is a bit harder to do as well. So that's what the world looks like from this side, and I'll pass it over to Jonathan. Good evening to you. It's nice to finally hear your voice with your call sign. You know most, if not all of us, by listening before you were licensed. And so welcome to the net, and welcome to the Ham Radio family. 9 Hotel 2, Juliet Golf, November 7, Alpha Papa Whiskey.
Juliet Golf to the net. Net controller, if I may, I'd like to make 2 points. You mentioned the flooding, but you didn't mention the river of Wine, if I'm not wrong, because I'm Portugal. And one other thing is, I would like to say something to 9H1 Echo Sierra. 9H.
Okay, we'll go one round with everybody, and then we'll open the net up, and I'll make sure that I'll give you the microphone so that you can talk to 9H1 Echo Sugar, who is standing by listening, but not participating at this time. So I didn't hear anything about Portugal, so that's why I didn't mention it. Let me know, please. Go ahead.
Nine Hotel 2 Juliet Golf Net. So basically there was all reservoirs or silos of red wine, and something went wrong, and all the people, if I'm not wrong, it was Portugal, where they had a river of wine flowing down on the street. But I mean, was a pity, it was a waste. It was something very different to see from the normal, what we normally see on the road. That's what I just said. Maybe if somebody else saw the article and can correct me, feel free to do so. My hotel is as well, so not a problem.
That's very interesting indeed. I'd be out there with my cup and dip it more than once. There used to be a good wine from Portugal that I used to drink when I was on the island. It came in a beautiful green oval bottle. And I forgot what it was. This is years ago, of course, but I'm sure good wine and good labels never die. That's very interesting indeed. I'll have to look that up, and thank you for that. And I'll pass the microphone back to you in a while after we go through one round with everybody who's checked in, and perhaps any new check-ins. So, saying that, this is November 7, Alpha Papa Whiskey, net control station for the 9H HAM GlobalNet today. Anthony, it's over to you. 9 Hotel 5 Fox Alpha and 7 APW. Any free-moving wine in the streets of Birkirkara today?
And 7 APW, this is 9H5FA. No, no free moving wine in the streets of Birkirkara. And if there was free moving wine in the streets of Birkirkara, I assure there would be people with bottles and cans and whatever, and collecting it, even if they have to filter it before drinking it. No, that's fairly unique. Otherwise, things have been quite normal. I don't really have anything new to report. Obviously, we've all been hearing the news about weather and fairly drastic climatic conditions in countries very close to us, and the damage, deaths and destruction that was done, unfortunately. We actually have some friends over there, but they communicated and said that they were not in an affected area, which is lucky actually. All right, let me pass it back on to net control. Jerry, thanks for this. I'll pass on back the mic to you. 910 APW, this is 9 Hotel 5 Foxtrot Alpha.
Well, I was following that weather system that came off of Greece after all those floods and rain, and I was just making sure that wherever it went, but then it veered towards the south, and unfortunately hit a country, Libya, that isn't used to anything like that in any way. although I have to say, honestly and truthfully, that nobody's really prepared for anything like this. And even, I'm sure Charlie PVT will probably share with us that even when you are prepared, you're never prepared enough. At least that's been my experience when I lived in Texas. And we got the tornadoes and the hurricanes, and we went to the hurricane parties, foolish us, but we did. And and it was well, and I was younger too. I thought I could outrun a tornado. I don't think that can happen. So I chased them, which is better. All righty. This is November 7 Alpha Papa Whiskey Charlie 9H1FBS. Good evening to you, and thank you for backing me up on the net. So far, everything seems to be holding up nicely. Echolink has been a bit finicky in the last few weeks, but it seems to be happy with us today. 9H1FBS with the 9H HAM GlobalNet, November 7 Alpha Papa Whiskey.
Yeah, okay, N7APW 9H1FBS with the Malta GlobalNet, 9H HAM GlobalNet. Now, yes, we were very lucky, and if I may make a suggestion, if anybody wants to, maybe we can talk about it later, but I think we should have some emergency preparedness from the amateur radio side on the islands here. We were starting something about 20-odd years ago, but it did not come to fruition. I have a QSP from G0BIA, Ian. He could not be with us tonight because he's attending, or he's visiting his daughter. Both of them are, he and his XYL, but he wishes everybody best 73. Yes, if I may comment, we were very, very lucky a couple of weeks ago. If that thing hit us, I think we would have been in big trouble, seeing that we're surrounded by sea. Actually, the sea did some damage in various parts of the island, especially the exposed parts, St. Julian's, Sliema, further up north, Bahar Cha, St. Paul's Bay, etc., etc. Anyway, with that unhappy thought, I wish you all a very good evening and pass it back to Net Control. And 7APW, 9H. You wouldn't even believe that thing was so close to us. It was windy, it was very windy, but thank goodness, of course, it didn't hit us. And 7APW, 9H1FBS, let me find the button or else I'll keep transmitting. Here we go.
Well, very good, Charlie. This is November 7 Alpha Papa Whiskey with the 9H HAM GlobalNet, talking about the weather and anything else and everything else that's either of general knowledge or ham-related. Charlie, good afternoon to you, WB4PVT. I hope you're doing better. I hope you're feeling fine, and thank you for joining the net this evening or this afternoon. In our case, locally it's only 15 or 18 minutes past noon, and so I'm on brunch. How about you, Charlie? WB4PVT and 7APW with the 9H HAM GlobalNet.
This is W4PVT. Well, here it's 2 o'clock, 2:19 on the clock, and doing a little, somewhat better. Managed to get a handicap decal for my vehicle so that I don't have to walk as far. Had to argue with the doctor. The doctor kept telling me I had minor arthritis, and I told her this is not minor. So anyway, I got that the other day. And started my classes at the local community college last week taking DCAC. Instructor looked at me and said, "Why are you here?" You know, you already know this stuff. So I've been helping the class out with any problems they have, and that's not too hard of a class. Also, Shane AH2ET that was in Malta a few months ago brought me 2 honey rings, which I love, and I've been eating those. And I really wish I could get some more. Can't get anybody around here to make any of them. And you mentioned about the hurricane parties. We've been extremely lucky here. No hurricanes, no tornadoes. One number of miles away, about a 1-hour drive, but that's about the closest. As for the hurricane parties, we had one probably 20 years ago. And the reason we had the party is because all the power went out, and we knew the food was going to go bad in the refrigerator. So we cooked out on the barbecue grills and put all the food on that, and that was our party. So other than that, not too much else going on. This is W4 PVT Clear.
Oh, very good, Charlie. Well, in my crazier years, whenever there was a hurricane in the Gulf, and we used to go down to Galveston or Surfside, which is the whole coast, and everybody would bring all their food, assuming that the power was going to go off and everything else, and everybody would cook outside, and everybody would go up and down the street and taste everybody else's cooking, and at some point in time, forget who they were and where they were. And it wasn't the food that did that, I can assure you. And we didn't even notice the hurricane at all. This is November 7, Alpha Papa Whiskey, net control station for this evening session of the 9H HAM GlobalNet. Are there any check-ins any more check-ins at this time before I continue down the list? Okay, hearing none. Good evening to you, Chris. Thank you very much for checking into the net, and I hope everything is well in your part of the world. 9 Hotel 1, Tango Lima, November 7, Alpha Papa Whiskey.
November 7 Alpha Papa Whiskey, this is 9 Hotel 1 Tango Lima Chris. I'm currently on the roof garden. I'm working on some artificial intelligence image generation software. It's an interesting technology. I'm interested if there's any interesting artificial intelligence related technologies related to ham radio. If anyone happens to know of any or comes across any in the future, do contact me. Artificial intelligence is a growing interest of mine as a lay user, and also not from the technical computer software development background. I don't have that background, but I do have a growing interest as a user. So if anyone has anything interesting to say about artificial intelligence, find me on Facebook, and I'd be happy to hear about it. Nothing more to add from my end. I'll give it back to Net Control, November 7 Alpha Papa Whiskey from 9 Hotel 1 Tango Lima Chris.
Anybody have any intelligence about artificial intelligence? I messed that one up. I'll do it again. Does anybody have any intelligence about artificial intelligence for 9 Hotel 1 Tango Lima? Well, here's my 2 cents, Chris. I read an article, but honestly, because of my age, and I'm going to be 70 next month, I don't remember whether it's on the ARRL.org or whether it's on the RSGB website. But there, I read an article probably about a week and a half ago about some software being developed or has been developed about AI for ham radio. And I thought it was pretty interesting, but for the life of me, If my life depended on it, I couldn't tell you which of the two sites, but it's one of the two. I hope that helps a little. Any pause for any other intelligence about artificial intelligence?
M7APW 9H5FA. Short comment, not a very informative one, but a short comment.
We would love to hear it, M7APW.
Hi, Jerry and Chris, 9H1 Tango Lima, this is 9 Hotel 5 Foxtrot Alpha. To be honest, I've been reading around sort of artificial intelligence, again from a sort of end user's perspective, not from anyone who's in the least knowledgeable of being able to sort of design anything along those lines. But at the stage, which is, I think, fairly the initial stages of AI, I mean, it's been with us for years, but I think we're still at the initial stages. I haven't actually seen anything of a practical nature which has to do in any way with amateur radio. I'm not saying it's not there, but I haven't seen it. What I've found, and I have, so this was some months ago, there are a lot of tools and setups. This has nothing to do with AI, obviously, but there are a lot of tools and setups on the Raspberry Pi for amateur radio. I mean, besides the hotspots, which are Raspberry Pi based and whatever, there's a lot of other software made for Raspberry Pi, which is also interesting, though I have to look it up again and see what I can do. I have a Raspberry Pi which is still in the box. Well, I have one which I'm using, but I have another one which is still in the box, and I bought it for radio amateur use, but it's still in the box. So I need to find some time to actually experiment a bit. Perhaps at some point in time when I get some experience with Raspberry Pi and amateur radio, I might sort of present my experience on the net, but it's still early at this stage. I need to find the time to do it. I'm WPW, this is 9H HAM GlobalNet. This is 9 Hotel 5 Foxtrot Alpha.
Well, excellent, very good, Anthony. And there's a genuine, I guess it's called concern. I think it's a fear, which is fine, but there's a genuine concern that AI may grow bigger than people can control it. Maybe Chris can address some of that. I know it's one of his favorite arenas, so to speak, even though perhaps on his level, but I have a feeling he knows at least 2,500 times more than I do about AI. So if you'd like to add something, Chris, to the net about AI, I'm sure we're all interested, because it's it's one of those topics that is current and of the future, and it's worth noting and knowing about. I'll leave that up to you, Chris. 9H1 Tango Lima with the 9H HAM GlobalNet, November 7 Alpha Papa Whiskey.
November 7 Alpha Papa Whiskey, this is 9 Hotel 1 Tango Lima, Chris. Just a small comment about AI. Probably everyone has used AI at this point. If you've used a computer or a phone without realizing, let's say you're sending an email and you notice that as you're typing it, the email might actually add sort of text to a suggestion to what you're writing. So I don't know if I have to write an email saying to whom it may concern. The rest of the email, or at least the next few words, might be added by your email account, by Gmail, for example. It's called predictive text, and that is artificial intelligence based. If you've ever been on WhatsApp or these Facebook video calls where you can add a funny filter to your face and make a sort of funny face with the camera, sort of, that's artificial intelligence based. Now, if you've ever done that, you've used artificial intelligence. I was a bit late to the mobile scene, to the smartphone scene, so this is my way of sort of making up for it and catching up with new tech. But it's an exciting new technology, and it does sound scary because it is new, but I can assure you it's more mundane than the media tries to hype it up to be. It's just a new tool, like I suppose back when Google was a new thing, it revolutionized everything. It made looking up things so much easier, and I think it's a similar level of innovation. It's just sort of a big thing that everyone will get used to eventually. And looking back, then we'll say, like, how did we ever live without it? Like Google and Wikipedia. How could you ever have gone through education without it? Sort of. Okay, so back to net control. November 7 up whiskey from 9 Hotel 1 Tango Lima Chris.
Good. Thank you for that, Chris. Which brings me up to another aspect of artificial intelligence. First of all, I used the picture thing, and it generated a picture of me that, according to my wife, looks more like me than a real picture. She said it says more about you than a real image of you. So I must be a funny guy. This is November 7 Alpha Papa Whiskey Net Control Station for this evening's session of the 9H HAM GlobalNet. Another aspect of this is kids in high school or kids in school and in college using artificial intelligence to write their papers. The question I've always had is, I wonder if all artificial intelligence, if two people ask it the same questions, it will give out the same content. Which can be sometimes caught by because of the wording. But I wonder, and I guess I can direct this to you, Anthony. Have you come across any of this yet? I have a feeling the answer is yes, but I don't know that. So again, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but it is a very interesting conversation. Let me see. 9H5FA with the 9H HAM GlobalNet and 7APW.
Seven APW, could you kindly repeat the last bit, please? I I left my chair for 2 minutes and I just heard you calling me. I didn't get your message. This is 9 Hotel 5 Foxtrot Alpha.
Can I make a comment, Jerry?
Yeah, hang on, Charlie. I have it noted. One moment. There might be somebody trying to get into the machine. This is November 7 Alpha Papa Whiskey standing by with the 9H HAM GlobalNet. That is, we can hear the static at the beginning of your transmission, but no audio. So we'll pause one more time, just in case you need to use the repeater or just simply check in. This is November 7 Alpha Papa Whiskey with the 9H HAM GlobalNet. Apologize. You're able to bring up the repeater and key it up, but there is no audio, just simple static coming through. one more time, and then we'll continue with the net and 7 APW. Okay, nothing heard but static. This is November 7, Alpha Papa Whiskey, net control station for this evening session of the 9H HAM GlobalNet. The question, Anthony, was we were talking about artificial intelligence and how it's used throughout life, and what my wondering was is I was wondering whether programs like ChatGPT and others that can generate papers, etc., and whether you've come across any of that from students and people in schools up to this time. Anthony, go ahead.
And 7 APW. This is 9 Hotel 5 Foxtrot Alpha. Jerry, did I get your question well? Was your question whether these AI chatbots, such as ChatGPT, whether they would influence students in schools? Is that your question? Apologies, there was interference and there was static, and it somehow blocked off part of your message, at least from my end. And 7 APW, this is 9H5 Foxtrot Alpha.
Okay, very good. 9H5FA with the 9H HAM GlobalNet and 7 APW. Well, that was part of it, and obviously whether kids are using AI to generate their papers to submit to the school as their own, when in truth it's been generated by AI, and that's the whole question. But yes, you have it right. Go ahead.
And 7 APW, this is 9H HAM GlobalNet. This is 9 Hotel 5 Foxtrot Alpha. Well, the short answer to that question is yes. The longer answer to that question is, what are the implications? And where does one draw a line between outright blatant cheating and intelligent use of a new resource? So there's a difference between just asking ChatGPT to generate the answer to a question and copying and pasting that, to actually using ChatGPT to give you an idea of some information and then verifying that information, because ChatGPT often does give ridiculous answers, at least when they're technical or scientific ones. I have asked GPT, for example, to give me the indications for a particular drug, and one of the indications it gave was completely irrelevant, and another indication it gave was actually worse than irrelevant, because the drug would be toxic if you had to use it in a person with that indication. So it's not just about giving a wrong answer, it's about giving a dangerous answer. So, you have to verify that information. Well, yeah, it's when someone copies and pastes from something like ChatGPT, it's not difficult to actually pick it up, because you get to know students, you get to know their style of writing, you get to know what to expect out of them. And when you see something which is out of line, completely out of line of what you would normally expect, then sort of you start to ask questions. I'm not saying that things don't get through or just don't. Yeah, they do. Let me pause for a few seconds for the repeater, and I'll continue. Yeah, okay, so a few months ago, our university had sort of expressed, the University of Malta had expressed concern about this. It was in the papers. The general idea, which I agree with, is that rather than looking at AI as something which, or I'm referring to AI systems like ChatGPT, rather than looking at that as something which is a threat, I think we should look at it as a new tool and work around it in the sense that these are tools which what the students who are today will use when they graduate, and I think we should work around it in the sense that exams and assessments should be structured in such a way to allow the use of these tools, as the same way we allow the use of books, of articles, of papers, but with some sort of verification. I mean, the information you get from a book or a paper has been verified to be correct, or at least as far as scientifically possible, it has been verified to be correct through peer review processes. But anything you get from ChatGPT is not verified to be correct. So I think the way forward is to actually promote the use of these tools, but the data they provide needs to be verified using traditional methods. Otherwise, it is fairly easy, but it is not very difficult to pick out a ChatGPT generated script. Okay, so that's the 2 cents from my end. I'm not sure if that's going to help, but I'm sure different schools and education institutions will look at this from differently and have different opinions. And 7 APW with the 9 HAM GlobalNet. This is 9 Hotel 5 Foxtrot Alpha.
Oh, very good. 9 Hotel 5 Fox Alpha. Thanks for that contribution. This is November 7, Alpha Papa Whiskey, Net Control Station for this evening session of the 9H Ham GlobalNet. Well, my schooling goes a long way back, far, far long and far, far away. And we all used to go to school in uniform at that time. That's how long it's been. And you know, I am a supporter of uniforms. But then right at the end of my secondary schooling, they introduced the concept of taking a test with an open book. And that was the strangest thing to me. And a lot of the students in the class or classes just said, we don't have to study now. Well, that may be fair in a way, but then what they forgot was that unless you do not know the content of the book, you don't have the answer to the questions in the test, and you're stuck. This is November 7, Alpha Papa Whiskey, Net Control Station for this evening session of the 9H Ham GlobalNet. Charlie, I have you still listed. Jonathan, I do as well. But let me take a pause for any additional check-ins for the net. N7APW. I still hear somebody trying to catch in, to check in, I should say. I apologize for that. We hear you bringing the machine up, but then there's just static. So I'll take another call for check-ins in a moment. And in the meantime, Charlie, you had a comment. 9 Hotel 1 Fox Bravo Sugar with the 9H Ham GlobalNet and 7 APW.
That's not That's not anybody accessing the repeater. There must be some noise close by which is opening the slouch of the repeater, Jerry, so I wouldn't worry about it. I tried to listen in, and it sounds the same on the radio side. That's my comment. And I don't want to deter Jonathan because I think he wants to speak to Fortunato. Not each one of yes. Thank you.
Well, okay. Let's see if Fortunato is here. 9H1 Echo Sugar with the 9H HAM GlobalNet. Are you listening? And 7 APW. I don't know whether he's listening or not, Jonathan, but please feel free to give him a call, and we'll stand by. 9H2 Juliet Golf with the 9H HAM GlobalNet and 7 APW.
Sierra from 9 Hotel for Juliet Golf. H1AS 42. Dakar. JGNet, I'm think the left is not in a position to reply net controller. No worries, I'll give him a call. Back to you, net controller is 9H2 3AD.
Okay, very good, Jonathan. 9H2 Juliet Golf November 7 Alpha Papa Whiskey with the 9H HAM GlobalNet this evening. Are there any other check-ins for the net or any other traffic comments, questions for the net this evening? Okay, hearing nothing else, I'll give one more pause, and then we will postpone the net for 2 weeks from today. Hearing nothing, this is November 7, Alpha Papa Whiskey, net control station for this evening's session of the 9H HAM GlobalNet. Closing our net today. Thank you very much for participating, everybody. It's been very interesting and enlightening, and I'd like to invite everybody to check in 2 weeks from today. Same frequency, same connection at 8 p.m. Central European Time. What would that be? 12 plus 7 is 19. 1900 UTC. No, is it 19 or is it 18? Somebody's got to help me. I think it's 18 because we're still on summertime. And anyway, it's 8 o'clock Malta time, 12 o'clock Montana time, and 2 p.m. Eastern U.S. time. Because I'm using my phone and there's no calculator. No, just kidding. 73s, everybody. Thank you for your participation. Keep smiling. Stay healthy. And we'll hopefully say hello again in 2 weeks or less. This is November 7, Alpha Papa Whiskey, closing the 9H HAM GlobalNet. Thank you, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, or good morning, wherever you are, and keep smiling.